Hey guys, my name is Kelly Reed and I am a physical therapist and I specialize in oncology and lymphedema. In this video, I'm going to show a common series of exercises using a stability ball or yoga ball. Exercise and physical activity before, during, and after cancer treatment are important for treatment tolerance, recovery, and quality of life. Research continues to show that those who exercise before, during, or after cancer treatment have decreased fatigue and less treatment side effects compared to those who don't exercise. Make sure to talk to your doctor before starting any new exercise program or trying these exercises specifically to avoid any safety issues or precautions. Then be sure to work with your physical therapist for the best individualized program for you. Make sure when trying anything new that you move at a slow pace and scale back any exercises that you're not ready for yet. So I'm going to get into it and go through the 7 exercises, starting with the easier ones and building to the harder ones. I'm going to go through core exercises, but also how to include your upper body and lower body strength into it. So the first core exercise that is pretty basic is you're going to start with sitting on the ball. You want to try to find a ball that gives you a 90-degree angle at your hip and your knee, so that if it's too tall of a ball, you're not way up high, and then too low, your knees are up towards your chest. So sitting on the ball, you want to make sure you have good posture, sitting upright. You don't want to be slumped or dunked on the ball. You don't need to be over hyperextended either. So just sitting in the middle, and then what you're going to do, keeping your chest upright and your core stable, to march one leg up and down, and then the other leg up and down, and just going back and forth, marching in place. Now, if you don't have a lot of core stability, you'll probably feel yourself rock around with your legs as you do it. You want to make sure that you're sitting still, so when this leg holds up, that this side is holding still, your core is engaged. So alternating your legs and continuing with that for about 2 minutes, as controlled as you can. Now if that's too easy for you, you can also add the opposite arm going up as well. So if I'm lifting my left leg, I'm going to lift my right arm at the same time, just like you would if you were marching in place. Try not to hold the ball down with your hands. Try to be out in the open to make sure you have as much core stability and much of a challenge as possible. So again, about 2 minutes or so, and then resting. So the second exercise for your core is that you're going to be laying on your stomach over the ball, and we're going to be doing Superwomen's or Superman's with arms and your legs. So showing you here, when you lay over, you can lay over on your chest or your stomach, whatever feels good. And then as I lift my left leg up, I'm gonna lift my my right arm. So opposite leg to opposite arm, making sure that you don't hyperextend with your back. So laying over it. Here, have a wide base of support for your legs so you're more comfortable. The more narrow you are, the more unstable you may feel, which is a good challenge if you're up for it. So then lifting my left leg and my right arm, and down, opposite side. If you need more support, you can put your hands on the ground, or you can put your other hand on the ball to help. But when you're challenged by it, you can have both arms in the air without that support. If that seems like too much, then maybe you start with just your leg or just your arm by itself. So keeping my arms down, lifting one leg and down, and then the other leg. Or same thing, one arm, other arm. And then building up to both at the same time. So the next 3 exercises I'm going to go through are for your core. Also incorporate your upper body strength to work for your postural muscles of your back, but also the arms and shoulders. So the first one I'm going to do is going to be working the middle back. They're the ones that help pull your shoulders back. So if you've gone through breast cancer treatment and you've had surgery or radiation and you have chest tightness, which brings you into that forward position, this will help you open up your chest wall. So laying over your stomach, what you're going to do is you're going to put your arms out to the side into a T. keeping your feet wide for support and for control. Then you're gonna raise your arms up towards the ceiling, feeling your shoulder blades pinch together. As you go up, you can hold for a second or two at the top. You can also add a small weight in your hands, but that gets challenging pretty quickly, so be aware of that. But overall, you're just gonna make sure you have that extra pinch of your shoulder blades as you get to the top, and then control on the way down, going through about 10 or 15 of those. So the next exercise is a ball walkout. You're gonna be working your shoulders by walking out away from the ball while the ball is underneath your body, but you need to keep your core engaged so that you don't move around a whole lot as you go. So I'm gonna back up for space, and then laying over the ball onto your hips or low stomach. You're gonna walk out onto your hands, and then you're gonna walk forward and walk back. And that's set of 1. Now, you can go all the way to your feet if you are confident with it, but for some, maybe you only walk out a little bit and then you walk back. But if you're more confident, walking all the way out and then walking back and going through those about 5 to 10 times. So the 5th exercise, but 3rd for your upper body too, is called a ball rollout. And what you're gonna do, this one's a little bit more challenging, and if you have low back issues, you need to be cautious with this one. You need to make sure that your pelvis is in position with a neutral spine so that you're not arching into your back really heavily. Keeping this in neutral position, kneeling high with your hands on the ball, you're gonna allow yourself to do a little bit of a trust fall and falling forward actually from your knees. So my hips are staying straight. So if it looks like a small one, I'm gonna start to roll out and then pull back. And then roll out and back. As you roll back, try not to lead with your back so you don't cause any back issues, but rather using your core to bring yourself back. You may also feel underneath your arms being worked. If you're ready for a challenge, you're gonna be able to go all the way out to your forearms. So allowing yourself to fall forward all the way to your forearms and then pull yourself back up. And there, making sure that you keep your core engaged. And it is okay if your feet come up, just keeping your knees stable on the ground. So the final 2 exercises are gonna go through and incorporate your lower body while utilizing your core muscles. The first one is gonna be a bridge. And so you're gonna be down on your back with your legs up on the ball. And then from there, you're going to lift your hips up and back down, making sure that you don't arch and lead with your back muscles, but rather use your hip muscles. Now, as you get stronger with that, you can hold longer at the top, so holding for 5 seconds at the top of the bridge and relaxing back down. If you want even more of a challenge, you can put the bottom of your feet on the ball rather than the back of your legs, but that will work more of your hamstring muscles rather than your glutes and your quadriceps in the front. So the last exercise we're gonna do is actually a squat, but it's gonna be assisted with the ball at the wall. So you're gonna place the ball behind you on the wall, and you want it to be a little bit lower on your hips or your back. You're gonna put your feet out in front of you a little bit. You don't want your feet too far underneath you because you wanna make sure that your knees don't go past in front of your toes forward. So putting your feet out a little bit will be helpful. From there, keeping yourself in a neutral posture. Don't try to slump around down, but allowing yourself to squat down and then back up. If that bothers your legs, you don't have to go as far. You can start with a small dip and building up to working towards a parallel position with your thighs. Again, try to keep your chest upright and using your core, and then use your legs to press yourself back up. So those are my 7 favorite exercises that I give out for a stability ball routine that will work your whole body, however focus in on your core. Start with the easy ones and gradually build up to the more challenging ones as you are comfortable, but make sure that you can always control your posture and your technique. If you have any other exercises that you like using the stability ball or other topics that you would like to see covered, feel free to comment those below. Thanks guys.